When you think about humanitarian aid, you probably picture something overwhelmingly positive, right? A force for good. But what if I told you that the way it's often done can be a major source of waste and even environmental damage? In this explainer, we're going to dig into how that old take-make-waste model is really starting to show its cracks and explore a new circular approach that could honestly create a more sustainable and resilient future for everyone. It's a pretty tough question to wrap your head around, isn't it? The idea that the very act of trying to help could actually be causing long-term harm. But the reality is, the traditional linear model of aid, well, it's creating mountains of waste. It's leaving behind a legacy of environmental problems, and it's happening in some of the world's most vulnerable places. So let's break this down. Think of the linear model as a dead-end street. It's a one-way trip from the factory straight to the landfill. It's basically designed for disposal. The circular model, on the other hand, is a completely different story. It's more like a vibrant, interconnected ecosystem. Resources are constantly flowing, being reused, repaired, recycled. It's a massive shift from a world full of waste to a world that, well, designs waste out of the system from the get-go. So what's really so bad about the old way of doing things? Well, it turns out that in today's world, with all these overlapping global crises, the linear model is kind of a ticking time bomb. And we're starting to see why it's just not working anymore. You see, it creates this really vicious cycle. You get this toxic cocktail of problems, mountains of plastic waste that are literally choking local environments, super long and fragile supply chains that can just snap under pressure, and on top of it all, spiraling costs that drain already precious resources. It's a recipe for disaster, and it's happening right now. But what if we could break free from this destructive cycle? What if we could actually create a system where waste is a thing of the past? Well, that's the promise of the circular economy. It's this revolutionary new approach that's really poised to transform how we think about, well, pretty much everything, from humanitarian aid to our own daily lives. The easiest way to think about the circular economy is to compare it to a natural ecosystem. Like, in a forest, there's no such thing as waste, right? Every fallen leaf, every dead tree, it all becomes food for something else. The circular economy tries to apply that exact same principle to our man-made world. It creates this closed-loop system where everything has value and nothing gets wasted. And this isn't some far-off utopian fantasy. It is happening right now in some of the most difficult places on Earth. A great example is the Syria Relief Program. Right in the middle of a brutal civil war, they are proving that the circular economy isn't just some nice idea, it's a lifeline. 40%. Just let that number sink in for a second. By making what seems like a simple switch, just using reusable shelter materials, the Syria Relief Program slashed its plastic consumption by almost half. That's 40% less waste, 40% less pollution, and it means 40% more resources are available for the people who need them most. Incredible. So, inspired by stories just like that one, experts have developed a whole new blueprint for humanitarian aid. It's called the Bio-Circular Humanitarian Systems model. And this isn't just another set of guidelines. It's a truly radical new vision for how we can deliver aid that's not only effective, but also sustainable and just. Okay, you can think of this model like a stool with 4 legs. The first leg is biological recycling, basically turning waste into wealth. The second is all about empowering local communities, putting them in the driver's seat. The third is leveraging digital tech, using data to make smarter, faster decisions. And that fourth leg, it's the continuous loop, the engine that drives the whole thing, constantly connecting resources back to the community. So this all sounds great, but how do we actually make it happen? How do we turn this vision into a reality? Well, it might not be as hard as you think. There's actually a pretty straightforward 5-step plan that any organization can follow to make the switch to a circular model. All right, here we go. First, we have to design for circularity, so creating products that are built to last, not just to be thrown away. Second, we need to go local, building up resilient supply chains that actually empower local communities. Third, we gotta start treating waste as a resource, creating real value from things we used to just throw out. Fourth, we need to get smart and use technology to optimize our operations. And finally, number 5, we need to measure what actually matters, tracking our progress and always striving to do better. Okay, so what's in it for us? Why should we even bother making this shift to a circular model? The answer is actually really simple. Because it's a win-win-win. It's a win for the planet, it's a win for the people we serve, and it's a win for the organizations themselves. And hey, the numbers don't lie. Just look at this chart. The linear model on the left, it's a clear recipe for high costs and pretty low impact. But the circular model on the right, it's a total game changer. It slashes costs, it boosts community resilience, and it helps create a much more sustainable future for everyone involved. So, if we sum it all up, the circular economy is cheaper, it's greener, it's smarter, and it's way more empowering. I mean, what's not to love? This quote really hits home. It's such a stark reminder that we just can't afford to keep doing things the old way. The challenges we're facing today are just too great, and the stakes are way too high. It is absolutely time to embrace a new way of thinking, a new way of acting, a new way of being in the world. The future of humanitarian aid is circular. It really is. It's a future where we don't just respond to crises, but we actually help to prevent them. It's a future where we don't just give people a handout, we give them a hand up. It's a future where we can create a more just, more sustainable, and more resilient world for everyone. And you know what? It all starts with a simple shift in our thinking. So, are you ready to join the circular revolution?